Now, there are a lot of amazing Pokemon in Pokemon Go PvP, but there's none better than Swampert. Hi guys, it's Krishna here and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing one of the most insane set of battles that I've done in a very long time. And as you guys might have already seen from the title and the thumbnail of this video, Swampert just basically helped me to pull out some wins from almost impossible situations. It was just insane. So please stay tuned till the end because each and every battle that I do from this set is going to be absolutely insane. So that's why I've slowed it down just a little bit than I do usually because I want to talk about the different situations of the game through the course of these battles. So hope you guys enjoy it and let's just get straight into the competition. Now, starting off with the first battle right here, I'm going to be leading Charizard in my first battle. I'm going to be switching my lead Pokemon throughout the course of this video. Giratina and Swampert are going to be constant at the back, but my lead Pokemon keeps changing. So we have Charizard into Leaky. Now, this is a pretty neutral matchup, but because Leaky is so bulky and Charizard is fairly glassy, it's going to be difficult. So if they shield the Blast Moon correctly, they can win. But I make a switch into Giratina to catch the Body Slam. I built up on a little bit of energy on Charizard, but luckily we were able to waste some energy on the Licky, but this is a very dangerous situation, right? Giratina is definitely not a safe switch option simply because every team is going to run at least one, if not two counters to Giratina and they bring out a Charmer. So Clefable is absolutely going to destroy Giratina. As you can see, these charms are absolutely chunking away at my Giratina. So this is already not looking great for me because just getting hard counter right off the back. Going to throw the Shadow Sneak right here. This is going to do a decent amount of damage, gets this Clefable into the red, which is kind of positive. So at this point, I'm just going to combine with Charizard and throw the Dragon Claw right away. The reason I do this is I know they've got quite a bit of energy. They've completely farmed down my Giratina. So I'm hoping they shield, but they don't shield. This is a huge call by them actually, because if it was Blast Burn, it could have taken them out. But they, like Zionic would say, they risked it for the biscuit and it paid off for them. Meteor Mash coming through. I didn't shield because I know it's going to be resisted. Out comes Licky, so I'm going to throw the Blast Burn right here. So this is either going to force a shield or it's going to do a massive amount of damage. So let's see what they decide to do here. Going to throw the Blast Burn right away and then switch into Swampert. Now, this is a really tricky situation, right? They still have a more than half health Licky and they have a full health Pokemon in the back. And also they have a little bit of Clefable as well. My Charizard is practically dead, so it's all up to Swampert. Correct. Fortunately, I correctly shield the Shadow Ball. I was planning to shield anyway, even if it was a Body Slam, because Swampert is my last Pokemon. I'm gonna have to shield it. Gonna throw the Earthquake right away because I know Hydro Cannon is not gonna be enough, and I really wanted to pressure shield or pressure health. Unfortunately though, they shielded that, which is kind of unfortunate because now I'm gonna have to go all the way up to an Earthquake again. I'm predicting this to be another Shadow Ball, which is why I decided to shield. Things are definitely not looking good right here because I don't even know what his last Pokemon is. So I'm just gonna overfarm just a little bit and throw the Hydro Cannon. The reason I throw the Hydro Cannon right here is I want to be able to farm down this Licky to get some additional energy on whatever is going to come out in the back. So unfortunately though, they're able to get off a last second charge move. This is probably going to be just a Body Slam, which is not going to do as much as the Shadow Ball, but it gets our Swampert critically low, right? They bring back Clefable. I'm able to Mud Shot it down, but that Charm damage went through and my Swampert is critically low. So I'm like, okay, what do you have in the back? What do you have in the back? It's a Registeel. This is absolutely perfect. It's the one Pokemon that I wanted to see because it's going to do very minimal damage with its fast move. So Earthquake coming through is going to do a lot of damage to Registeel, but now I make a switch into Charizard because now my intention here is to get this Registeel into Hydro Cannon range and also make him throw his energy, right? He's not going to be able to farm Charizard down, so he basically gets off the Flash Cannon. Now I'm able to get to the Hydro Cannon right here. This is incredibly close. So Hydro Cannon coming through. This should finish off Registeel, and then they still have Licky in the back, and that goes down to Mud Shot. So that was just so intense. That was insane right there. As you can see, my Swampert was literally in the red and Registeel hadn't even come out yet, but fortunately because it was a Registeel and then because Swampert and Charizard both have such positive matchups and Swampert basically did all the work there, and it was just insane. It was one of just an example to showcase how deadly Swampert can be even with very minimal health but a lot of energy. So this time I'm going to be going with Snorlax, I believe, on the lead, switching out Charizard. I keep switching the leads. I don't know. I mean, do let me know in the comments. I've always felt like maybe switching the lead can sometimes... I've had more success in situations where I've kept switching the lead rather than sticking to the same team. Or at least that's probably purely a coincidence. But Snorlax into Giratina is a very positive matchup. They make a switch into Togekiss. I think they were trying to catch an Earthquake there, but we were still not at an Earthquake yet. And this is actually pretty good. I'm going to stay in this matchup because Snorlax has the best matchup against Togekiss out of the 3 Pokemon that I do have. Now, Swampert doesn't have a great matchup against Togekiss when shields are up, right? When shields are down, Swampert is going to do okay. But when shields are down, shields are up, it's going to be very difficult. So because they can just shield the Hydro Cannons and then farm me down. So as you can see, Licks and Body Slams are doing quite a bit of damage to this Togekiss. I'm not going to shield this because Snorlax is so bulky and I know I can get to another Body Slam. So this should either pressure the final shield or I'm going to be able to win switch advantage, right? It's one of the two. So they decide to give up a shield, absolutely fine by me. Like I said, this is beautiful. I would not mind it at all. You know, I know I'm going to lose switch advantage, which is why I switch immediately into Giratina, because I don't want them to farm me down. You might think this is a very weird decision, right? Switching a Giratina into Togekiss because we're taking so much damage from the charms. But at this point, it's basically about trying to farm this thing down and get as much energy as possible. Like I said, my MVP is Swampert. I'm leaving everything to Swampert with 2 shields. They make a switch into the Giratina on the charge move, so they still have a little bit of Togekiss left, which I'm going to have to be mindful of. So they've actually stored up on quite a bit of energy in that Snorlax matchup, which in the beginning, so I know they can get off additional Dragon Claws. Like I said, I'm not going to shield. So at this point, I've got an almost dead Snorlax, and I've got a full health Swampert with 2 shields. And they still have 3 Pokemon, right? They have a half health Giratina, a little bit of Togekiss, and then a full health Pokemon in the back. So this is where it just gets really crazy, right? So Dragon Claw coming through, definitely going to shield this because I have to preserve some health on my Swampert. Even though I don't know what's in the back, I have to start shielding because I don't want to, you know, get extremely low to a point where they can finish me off with fast moves. So Earthquake coming through, unfortunately we're able to take this Giratina out. At this point I make a switch into Snorlax and try and get off a Body Slam, but I forgot how little health Snorlax had. So at this point I'm just going to commit to the farm down. This might seem absolutely crazy because these Mud Shots are double resisted. Look at how much damage those charms are doing, right? They're able to get off another charge move, absolutely have to shield it no matter what it is. This point I'm just leaving too much for Swampert to do, right? This just seems like it's GG's at this point, but they have an Empoleon in the back. This is huge. But they get a waterfall through, right? They get a waterfall through. This gets us critically low, but this Earthquake is going to one-shot this Empoleon. And so Togekiss comes in and goes down to Charm. This is just insane. I mean, actually, one Charm would have taken the Swampert out. But I don't know, I think the Mud Shot damage registered before the Charm damage came through, which is why I was able to pull that off. I did not think I would pull that off, especially because the Waterfall damage had registered onto my Swampert and another Waterfall would have taken me out because I was slightly slow, waiting for what his last Pokemon is to see whether I had to use Hydro Cannon or Earthquake. But again, it was just a situation where it almost looked like it would be impossible for me to win. I probably should not have gone for that aggressive farm down on Togekiss, but I risked it for the biscuit and I guess it paid off. So, moving on to the third battle right here, we have Snorlax into Lapras. So let's see now. Okay, we have Snorlax into Lapras. So at this point, I'm just gonna... this is actually okay. I mean, Snorlax has the best matchup against Lapras out of the 3 Pokemon. Even Snorlax actually doesn't have a great matchup against Lapras, simply because Lapras is also very bulky. Yeah, but I'm just going to try and chip away with Body Slams. Just try and do as much damage as possible and get this Lapras incredibly low. Because both Swampert and Giratina have pretty poor matchups against Lapras. So just going to stay in, obviously not going to shield this. They are going to be able to outpace us to those charge moves. So just like I said, just going to throw as many Body Slams as possible. Obviously, this would be a slightly better matchup for Snorlax if I had access to Superpower, which would do super effective damage against Lapras. So at this point, I think, yeah, they're probably going to beat us to the charge move, which is expected right here. So gonna let it go through because I know I can't, I don't want to burn a shield at this stage. I'm gonna come back in with Giratina, right? So They make a switch into Togekiss. Now I'm going to go into Swampert. Now this is again a pretty terrible situation to be in because like I said, Swampert doesn't have a great matchup against Togekiss when shields are up because all they have to do is shield 2 Hydro Cannons, and even if I get to the third one, it's only going to do about 50%. And I still have a Giratina in the back, right? We get the shield and we're already below 50% health. I'm definitely going to shield this because even if it's Ancient Power doing minimal damage, every little damage adds up, and at this point, I have to get off as many Hydro Cannons as physically possible. So gotta get off with the second Hydro Cannon right here. I'm assuming they're gonna shield this because actually they let it go. That's beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted, to be honest, but I have to get to the third Hydro Cannon to pressure the shield or pressure health. So fortunately we are able to get off the last second Hydro Cannon. Again, Swampert just putting in work like it always does. Gets it out of here. Still, it's an uphill battle, right? This Togekiss has like 40% health. I have a Giratina in the back, and these charms are absolutely destroying. So just gonna throw the Shadow Sneak and just get this Togekiss out of here as quickly as possible. It's obviously not gonna KO though. We're still gonna continue to take a lot of damage from charms. But let's see. They have a Swampert in the back, so this is. They still have a little bit of Lapras and they have a full health Swampert, right? It's at this point it's probably almost GG's right here, but just gonna throw as many Dragon Claws as possible. We're now in Earthquake range, which is also very unfortunate. But the Lapras doesn't have too much energy. I think that is one of the plus sides, but it's still not looking great, even though we have a shield advantage. So just gonna try and chip away the Swampert with Dragon Claw. At this point, there's only one win condition for me, right? I have to call the bluff. If it's Earthquake, I'm done. But luckily, it ends up being a Surf. I was expecting Hydro Cannon, but anyways, they baited right there. Luckily, we didn't fall for it. Definitely going to shield this, because if I don't shield this, then Lapras is going to be able to Ice Shard me down. So now this Swampert is in Dragon Claw range. I'm going to be able to get it off, and now it's going to be a race, right? It's going to be a race between Giratina and Lapras in the back, and yeah, this Dragon Claw KOs the Swampert, and out comes Lapras, and this is a race. Those Ice Shards are absolutely destroying Giratina, but I'm able to get off a last-second Dragon Claw. Now, is this going to be enough to KO, though? It is enough, barely. So, oh my god, that was a half-health Togekiss, a full-health Swampert, and a little bit of Lapras. Giratina this time, I know this wasn't Swampert pulling through at the very end, but it was Giratina, and Swampert did put in a lot of work. It basically got 2 shields from Togekiss, and also got Togekiss down by about 50%, which really allowed me to kind of set up this game at the back to win. So that was just, that was insane, and let's move on to the next one. So as you can see, 3 really insane battles where my Pokemon just basically survived like 1 HP and then pulled out wins. So I guess when things go and start working for you, you just start winning games. But certain other times, even when you're playing well, you probably lose. I guess that's just how it works. Met with the Poliwrath, not a positive matchup at all, especially because we don't have Hurricane on Articuno. Ice Shard and Icy Wind are going to be resisted, while Dynamic Punch is going to be hitting for a lot of neutral damage. But this, I know, is just an Ice Punch because it was way too quick to be a Dynamic Punch. So I'm just over farming just a little bit just to bluff a Hurricane, which I think was probably a mistake. I should have thrown the Icy Wind right away. And another mistake I do here is I don't shield the Dynamic Punch, right? This is going to do a lot of damage, and especially because it's not debuffed. I should have first of all thrown the Icy Wind right away, and I should have shielded the Dynamic Punch. So a couple of mistakes there. Again, not off to a great start. Another situation where we're kind of falling behind in the game here. So at this point, I'm going to double debuff this Poliwrath. And this still not going to be enough because another Dynamic Punch would come close to taking my Articuno out. So I'm going to make a switch into Giratina right here and soak whatever charge move he has. Fortunately, he decides to throw. I think that's one of the mistakes he made. He probably could have saved up all that energy and then come back and hit my Swampert or something later when the debuffs have been cleared. But he threw the Ice Punch. It does almost nothing because it's double debuffed. And I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw right here. And they put up a shield. This is beautiful. This is the perfect situation. And they bring back Snorlax. So they probably should have brought Snorlax in as soon as I switched my Giratina into it, because they could have stored all that energy on Poliwrath. But now it's fine. It's still not a great situation for me to be in because Snorlax is going to completely wall Giratina right here. As you can see, those licks are really adding up. I'm just going to try and chip away with Dragon Claw and hopefully burn the Switch Clock and then switch out of here because I'm just going to get farmed down all the way. So they're going to get off a charge move right here. I'm assuming this is probably going to be an Earthquake, but I still don't shield, right? That's the game plan typically, just for as much as possible, save 2 shields for Swampert. So just going to, bring Articuno into Articuno here just because I don't want to get farmed down, right? I know I'm going to get hit by a Body Slam. Going to let it go through, again, putting all my faith in Swampert. Giratina is almost done. It's going to be a Superpower. Okay, so they have Superpower and Earthquake, so that's actually good to know. Now I'm going to come in with Swampert, and this Snorlax is in Hydro Cannon range. But now they make a switch into Poliwrath, right? They make a switch into Poliwrath. Now this is critical that I got off the Hydro Cannon first, because now I'm forcing them to shield, and I know they have a lot of loaded energy. So I'm going to have to shield this because Dynamic Punch should do quite a bit of damage. And now it's a shield, I think I still have a shield, so this is actually not a terrible situation, but I want to get to this Hydro Cannon before this Poliwrath is able to get off charge move, because I have to get this thing out of here. They still have a full health Pokemon in the back. That's how it's typically been throughout these throughout the set right here, and they bring in their own Swampert. Okay, this is a really tricky matchup again, so I'm just gonna sack my Giratina right here. My Giratina still had a little bit of loaded energy, to be honest. We still had a bit of we were almost to a Dragon Claw, but it's fine. I'd rather take that extra I'll have that extra shield on my Swampert rather than having the Dragon Claw and Giratina. So just gonna throw the Hydro Cannon right away here, and then hope that I can get to another one before this Swampert is able to get off another one. Unfortunately, we lose CMP, which is really surprising to me, because my Swampert has 15 attack. Probably his Swampert has 15 attack too. So I'm gonna have to shield this, because this is gonna do the most damage out of either the Swampert's Hydro Cannon or Snorlax's superpower. Hydro Cannon is probably gonna do more. So I'm gonna throw the Hydro Cannon right away, just in case they overfarm, because I don't want to eat another charge move. Out comes Snorlax right here. Now I'm gonna have to go for Earthquake, right? Because Snorlax is not in Hydro Cannon range. But luckily they get off the charge move. I know this is gonna be superpower because he used it on my Articuno. Now this is great for me, because now the Snorlax is in Hydro Cannon range, and as you can see, the timer is running out and it's almost about to run out, but I'm gonna be able to get off this last second Hydro Cannon right here, and this should definitely take out the Snorlax. So that was just, again, so close. For the most part in that match, it didn't really look like I would pull that off, but somehow I managed to do so. I mean, like I said, I've had sets of battles where I've absolutely dominated the beginning of those battles, and then I just somehow find ways to lose, and then I go 0-5 in battle until you win. This was just the exact polar opposite of it, when you, in spite of just playing poorly for the first half, I'm able to catch up for the second half as well. So, final matchup, this is against Venusaur. This is a very, very positive lead. So at this point, we're looking pretty good already. I'm expecting a switch out right here. They're probably going to try and switch on the charge move, but this is probably going to be a Sludge Bomb. I'm going to let it go through. Luckily, it ends up being a Frenzy Plant. That's even better. It's resisted. So they make a switch into Melmetal. This is beautiful. So I'm going to go into Swampert for two reasons, obviously. Because Swampert is a hard counter to Melmetal, and I can avoid the Venusaur, right? I'm not going to shield right here, because even if it's superpower, they're going to risk lowering their defense. So at this point, I can go straight Hydro Cannon, because this is going to do a ton of damage to Melmetal. And let's see if they decide to shield right here, because they are debuffed at this point. They decide to not shield. This is actually pretty smart by them, because even if it was Earthquake, they probably could have come in with Venusaur and farmed me down. I'm not going to shield this, because they didn't shield. I'm not going to shield, because I don't want that Venusaur to come and farm up on too much energy on my Swampert. So at this point, they're double debuff, so I can just commit to the Mud Shot farm down, but unfortunately, they're able to get off charge move. So I'm going to have to shield this, because I don't want all that energy on Swampert to go to waste. I know Venusaur doesn't probably have a charge move as yet, because they switched after they threw the Frenzy Plant. So just going to go straight for the Earthquake. This is going to do a lot of damage to Venusaur if it goes unshielded. Let's see if they decide to put up a shield. They decide to shield this up. I'm going to switch into Articuno and throw the Icy Wind right away here. This is either going to force a shield or just probably take this Venusaur out. So let's see what they decide to do. No, it doesn't take it out. They still have a lot of health, but does a lot of damage, right? They decide to stay in this matchup, which is really surprising for me, because now it tells me that they have something in the back which is even weaker to Articuno, something that doesn't really do great against Articuno, right? The reason I switched out here, because I know I have my Giratina in the back, which can take care of Venusaur, which is why I gave up switch advantage there. And they have a Swampert in the back. Beautiful. Now they have their final Pokemon. They can't really switch out, because it is their final Pokemon, and this is where Articuno is so good, right? Articuno is so good when you can line it up against their final Pokemon, especially when they can't switch out. So I've already debuffed the Swampert once. I'm going to shield right here on purpose so that I can debuff it twice. And there's nothing the Swampert can do against my full health Giratina, right? Because now it's double debuff. Earthquake is going to do nothing, and I'm just going to stay in this matchup, because they're not going to be able to Mud Shot farm me down, because Mud Shots are double resisted. We still have a decent amount of health, and now they're double debuffed. It's going to do nothing. They're going to be forced to throw the Hydro Cannon. This is going to barely take me out, but it's pretty much GG's already. This is actually one of those, I would say, not as close as some of the previous ones, but still a pretty good game right here. So gonna bring in Giratina right here, throw the Dragon Claw. Doesn't matter what they do at this point. Like I said, Earthquake is gonna be very minimal, or do very minimal damage. Gonna throw the Dragon Claw right here, and then I think I make a switch into Swampert. I just do this for the flex. So I think they decide to give up the match, because they realize that there's no way for them to come back from that, because Giratina as such is an absolute tank, and then those debuffed Earthquakes are gonna do next to nothing. So again, that was, I mean, I had my sort of, it was just so insane. Again, like you can see, 5-0. I haven't gone, I believe only the second time I went 5-0 in Ultra League this season. And this is actually one of the sets of battles that I did like 3 or 4 days ago after I was done with all those experimenting. I tanked a lot of rating points and went below 2100. I was just using some of these battles to, you know, get my score back up and then hopefully get back to trying some anti-meta stuff. But yeah, this was crazy. But anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe to this channel as well. And I'm going to be bringing a lot of exciting videos, showcasing a bunch of different teams as well. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.